Fala amigos do Alma Hard, tudo beleza? Aqui é o Leandro Isopo e hoje a gente veio trazer a entrevista para vocês do Jupp, baterista da banda FM, que está desde o começo da banda. Ele veio trazer aqui um papo bem legal, contando sobre todas as suas bandas, o Samson que ele integrou, Wildlife e claro também a sua vinda aqui pelo Brasil. Então foi um papo bem legal, espero que vocês gostem.
Just to say that a lot of fans here in Brazil participated for this interview. We asked a lot of them, a lot of friends that we know that likes the band, and we must say that lots of fans wouldn't be able to be in the concert, but we would love to. And you all guys have so much support here in Brazil. You are like,
fantastic.
We really love you guys.
So thank you.
We are here today with Pete from FM, the band
Hello.
that's going to be here in Brazil in the next weeks. And
Yes.
Leandro, that we already know, our long time companion already. And we are very excited for a show concert from FM here in Brazil, because is it going to be the first time?
Absolutely, the first time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we cannot wait. We are so excited. If you're excited, you should be us. We're super excited.
Mm-hmm. What are your expectations for the show here in Brazil?
So I think it's nice to see how fans react in different countries. We did a show in Athens in Greece before COVID, and they went absolutely crazy. So we're kind of hoping for that, you know. So no, we are so excited. We really are. We can't wait.
With this like awesome discography, what the fans should expect for the set list?
Well, I can't really tell you, can I? But I think we're going to keep it to the early albums. Is that a good idea? There you see. Yeah, I think we'll keep it to the early albums.
But the entire discography is great. You should pick the tunes every tune that you are proud of from every album.
I think because it's our first time, we're going to start with the first few albums. There'll be some from the other albums, but it'll be mostly from the best known albums, if that's the right word. But as when we come back, if you have us, then we can maybe play some more stuff.
It will be a classical set list.
It'll be absolutely. Yeah. The most classic set list.
But will be some of the 13, the last album, could be?
From the last album, well, to be totally honest, we haven't decided yet the full set list, but we've got an idea. We're rehearsing on Tuesday, so there we go.
This year, FM celebrates 40 years with 14 wonderful albums and with more than half members from the original lineup. It's a jealousy for many bands. How did you get there and still be in shape?
Oh, I don't know. Beer, I think. Plenty of beer. I don't know. We're kind of lucky. We're lucky to still have 3 original members. Unfortunately, we lost Chris earlier in the year, which was really tragic and sad, and because he was such a great man and such a big part of FM. But his music lives on. There's still me, Steve and Merv, but now Jem and Jim, they're as established as anybody, really. I think this lineup has been going longer than the first lineup. Yeah. So,
So it's a good sign.
Yes, it's a good sign, But it's mainly beer.
Do you like the beans and toast there? Like, for real?
Cool, yeah.
Right? Oh,
beans on toast.
It's beans and toast and beers and wine.
Well, I'm not a big wine drinker. Steve likes wine. Steve likes red wine. So there you go. If you want to buy him a present, get him some red wine.
We're gonna send him. We're gonna send you all.
Okay.
You are an exception among many other drummers because you are a composer in almost every band that you have been. How did you develop that, and what is your creative process for writing?
I find it a lot easier now with how computers are and that kind of thing, because I can get my ideas down better. I can sit at home and I'm a very bad guitarist, but you know, I can get ideas across, so I can make little demos now, which makes it a lot easier than just being in a rehearsal room and like playing guitar really badly, trying to sell an idea to people. So it's a lot easier now than it was. But yeah, I've kind of contributed to every band I've been in, really, you know, in one way or another.
We have news from FM. Will we have any new album coming on the next months?
One this year, in the spring. New album in the spring. So there we go.
We have a name.
Yes, it's all going well. It's all being pressed, and it should be. I think it's out in May. Here we go. Here's Old Habits Die Hard. That could be an exclusive. I don't know, but there we go.
Oh my God, we have our title already.
Yeah,
we have our title already. The excellent Heroes and Villains, released in 2015, marked the return of the band to the English charts. What do you think that happened for this comeback sounding like the old ones?
I don't really know, to be honest. I don't even understand the charts now, you know, because it's done on streams and this. I do not understand how the charts work. You know, when we first got together, you bought an album and someone ticked the box and that was it. But now it's like streams and YouTube, this and that. So sorry, I'm completely no idea how the charts work now. But no, it's lovely. It was great. You know, we always do well in the rock charts and stuff like that.
So getting back to the FM's first two albums, the classic ones, they are absolutely all are classics. How was the first album recording process? Because we don't know a lot about it. Right.
Now the first album, it was very strange because at the time, our manager, he was very involved in the recording process of the band. He recorded the demos that we got the record deal with Portrait. And I think between you and me, I think he wanted to become like a producer engineer. And he said, because we wanted to get a producer to do Indiscreet. But he said, no, Portrait, they love the sound of the demos. They want us to go in and record them. And we're like, are you sure? Really? Not get a producer? No, I've spoken to them. They definitely want us to do it. So we said, okay, that's fine. But if we do that, we must have someone to mix it. Okay, fair enough. So we went in to all these like fantastic studios all over the place, like residential ones where you stayed and everything. And we were a little bit out of our depth, to be honest. You know, there were some things we didn't know how to do. And I'll tell you one little story. On Hot Wired, Merv wanted, there's like a shaker kind of sound, and he wanted it to go between the speakers. And that took us a whole day to do. It was just because we didn't know what we were doing. And there was a guy who was like the assistant. He went on to work with Def Leppard, a guy called Pete Woodruff. And he was probably sat there thinking, I could do that in a minute. And I'm just watching these idiots, you know, just mucking about. And yeah, I mean, I think we were paying about, I think it was about £1,500 a day we were paying, you know, that's what it was cost the studio. So if you listen to Hot Wired and you hear like a shaker go, think that was £1,500. And it took a whole day. So like I say, yeah, we were doing the album, learning as we went, really. And then it came to the time of mixing. And again, Dave, our manager, went in and he came back. He said, oh, no, they want us to mix it. And we're like, no, but we said we want to get someone to mix it. No, they want, you know. And so we then mixed the album ourselves. And it was hard work, you know. I mean, people loved the album, but we were never 100% happy with how it sounded, kind of thing. But it did well, so you know, we can't really complain too much. That's why when we did Tough It Out, we insisted, kind of thing, we have to have a producer and someone to mix it, and that's what we did.
It's really nice to hear that you all done your own work and you learned a lot with that.
Yeah.
You like, and this sound of old school producing, it's like clear in the recordings, but it's something that we all like enjoy it. It's That's why we all love your songs.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's why we have so much cherish for FM. And how did that girl end up as Iron Maiden's B-side in the same year?
I think Iron Maiden are just a nice bunch of people, and they thought, well, if we put it on a B-side, the boys will earn some money. That's it. You know, because we know Adrian very well. We know Bruce, and Yannick is a very good friend. You know, but this is before. I think this is before Yannick joined. But yeah, I think they just thought, you know, poor boys. You know, we'll do the B-side, and then they might earn a few quid. Then they can afford to have beans on toast. You know.
It's pretty long. That is so nice to hear. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, they're a good bunch. They're a good bunch.
This one is here says, Tough It Out is my favorite FM album of all time. Perfect.
It's my favorite album, Pete. It has incredible production. It's starring the great composers. The mixing is great.
Yeah,
it's really a band classical album for any bands, I think. How was the reception around the world? Has the same reception like he had a great production and results as a music or not?
Yeah, we had a few false starts with Tough It Out. We had another producer to start with. I won't name him because that's not fair, and it just didn't work out. We then went in with Neil Kernan, who had worked with Dokken and Paul and Oates and all that, and he was a real great producer. You know, he did produce. You know, and we recorded it in London, and we had a good time basically. What we used to do, Neil said, what we'll do is we'll work Sunday to Friday. We'll have Saturdays off, kind of thing. So. I mean, because on Sundays there's nothing to do, so we might as well work on a Sunday and have Saturday off. So we'd work on a Friday. We'd probably work until about 6 o'clock, and then we'd all get into the control room and just listen to what we'd done that week. And then we'd listen to stuff that we liked. At that time, the first Dan Reed album had just come out. We loved that album, so we'd have that through the big speakers, you know, really loud and kind of thing. We used to play it so loud that we used to break the speakers. And so Neil produced the album, and then we were really lucky to have a guy called Nigel Green mix it, and he works with like Mutt Lange. He did some of he's mixed Def Leppard albums, and the first mix we went down to the studio, and it was just like, whoa, yeah, this is it. We like this. This is good, and it was great. Yeah, so no, we're very, very pleased with Tough It Out.
And it seems that the grunge invasion that happened in the United States, with which every hard rock band decided to change their sound to they tried to have their own grunge. For the FM, it seems like nothing different happened, because Take It to the Streets.
That was Taking It to the Streets was kind of before the grunge thing. Well, grunge hit the UK probably very late 80s, early 90s kind of thing, and we just became so unfashionable. So we didn't really try to follow the trend. We just split up. Kind of. We thought, well, there's no point, you know. So it was totally amicable. We just sat there and we thought, look, there's no point, and it was getting harder and harder. Our music, you know, melodic music wasn't fashionable anymore, and so we just said, okay, let's just stop. And so we did. We always stayed friends, and then over those years, there was a guy called Kieran Dargan, an Irish guy, who used to put on the Firefest in Nottingham, and he'd like ring Merv up or ring Steve up and say, come on, get back together again. Go on, just do one show. Come on. We go, nah. And then just one year, I think it was probably 2005, we were like, well, why not? Let's give it a go. So we got back together again, and we honestly thought, well, if 200 people turn up, it'd be great. We'll just have a good time, do the show, and then we'll go our separate ways again. So what basically happened was it was always in Nottingham Rock City, in Nottingham, and we sold it out, 1,500 people, and we were like, whoa, my God. And we weren't allowed, the contract stated we weren't allowed to do like a warm-up show. We just had to do the show. And we were like, oh no, it's sold out. Ugh. And so really what we did, we just went on stage hoping we wouldn't embarrass ourselves too much. But it was, honestly, it was the most fantastic evening. It was, I don't want to sound like some weird old hippie, but it was magical. It really was. Just the atmosphere was electric. I remember I'm at the back playing the drums, and I've got tears in my eyes just from, you could feel the love from the audience. And we came off stage, we're just like, whoa, what was all that? It's like, we were shocked, and we were just like, oh, maybe we better do an album. Oh, how do we do that? And so then we did Metropolis, and it's just carried on from there, just rolling on from there. So I don't think you asked me that question, but that's what happens anyway.
That's the best part. We want to know all these details.
Yeah, we're saying about the 90s because the Taking Street Streets, Aproveitem, and Dead Man's Shoes are awesome albums, like the 80s albums. There's no 80s album in the FM discography, but it did. Any Dead albums in the 90s didn't seek the grunge formula. It's rock albums, yeah. But have any pressure from the record company to change the sound or not?
If we did, I don't remember. I mean, the thing is, it's because Steve's voice is so melodic. It's very hard to have a grunge sound with him singing. If I was singing, we'd sound like Pearl Jam. but they won't let me sing. So, but no, like I say, Steve is so melodic that we were never going to sound grungy. I don't think. Yeah. I think we probably had, maybe some little influences maybe come into some of the songs, but very, very subtle. I remember Andy and I were reviewing singles for Kerrang, or one of the magazines, and they played "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and I remember just looking at each other, going, "Whoa, what is this?" I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a fantastic song. It was different, that's the first time I heard it in the Kerrang offices.
I'm asking to you, Peter, about the other guys. What were you doing in the time that you split up the band?
I was split up. Everyone was doing different things, really. Quite such a long time ago, and I can't really remember. I did an album with Steve called Brass Monkey. We had a band called So. Merv was everybody was just doing various things, and then when we decided to get back together again, like I said, we were just going to go back to what we were doing. But here we are, come to South America.
And Metropolis is a good album. It's a little bit different what FM already did or became to do, but it's a good comeback album. Thank
you. Yeah. Thank you. Well, we actually recorded the first recording we did. We recorded it in Metropolis Studios, which is like a famous studio in London. We were lucky, had a friend who knew someone, and he said, I can get you in there cheap. We're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, so we actually recorded, I think we did like 4 tracks there in Metropolis Studios.
The Metropolis album was released by an independent label, yeah?
Yeah, we had our own label at that time, I think. We kind of released it ourselves. So we didn't really know what we were doing, and we still don't. But we just just put it out, and people seemed to like it. And then we did some more shows, and they were well attended. And like I say, it's just been like a rolling thing. Just taking each day as it came. And we got some radio play on Radio 2 in the UK, which we never got in the 80s. When we were with the big record company. So yeah, no, it was good. It was all very positive. And then we met lots of people who had sort of followed us back in the day. There was a guy called Steve Strange, and he's an agent, and him and his friends used to come over from Ireland, from Belfast, to come and see us when we were like playing with Bon Jovi and all this. And Steve ended up being like so successful. He was the agent of Coldplay, Eminem, The Killers, you name a band, Steve was their agent, and we were his favorite band at the time. And he came to see us, and he said, "Oh, come on, boys, you know, you've got to come and join. Come on, you know, I want to look after you. I want to manage you." So we said, "Yeah, all right then," you know. And he was great, and sadly he passed away a few years ago during COVID. So he's really, we miss him so much. He was just the best guy. But he got us some great shows. We did all the big festivals around Europe. We were with Kiss, Def Leppard, on those shows, Whitesnake. It was great. It was I'm getting teary now thinking about him, because we all loved him so much. Bless him. So we've been very lucky. We've been very lucky. I remember we were opening for Foreigner and Journey, and I was just stood on the stage, and this is like after we'd come back, kind of thing, after the reunion. And I just remember thinking, wow, you're a lucky boy. You're a very lucky man to be able to do this now, because you sometimes take things for granted. When we had the 12 years away, I never thought I'd be doing it again. And I just remember standing on the stage thinking, you're a lucky man. Don't take this for granted. And we don't, we appreciate every day.
Yeah. But you're saying that you were lucky, but you have a lot of discographies behind the FM, yeah?
Yeah.
Going back a little, we were a member from Samson.
Yes.
82 to 85.
Yeah.
The band have a great drummers in the band. We have the Cliff Burr in the early.
Yeah.
Stick after you, I think. Yeah. They have the drummer as a reference. You were on.
There was a guy. Well, the guy I took over from was a guy called Mel Gaynor, and he went on to play with Simple Minds. And Mel is just like, he's just what a drummer this guy is. So I remember Paul playing me the demos with Mel playing. I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't do any of that. So I remember saying to Paul, well, yeah, it's all very good what Mel's doing, but I'm just going to simplify it a little bit, make it my own style. So there you are. Yeah, I was very nervous taking over from Mel, but no, it was a great experience. Paul was a one-off. He was a great guy. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met. And it was through Samson that I met Merv, kind of thing, because Merv was played bass in Samson near the end. So yeah. So
know him.
Yeah. So like I say, everything happens for a reason, And we were coming back. We were coming back from some shows in Ireland on the ferry, and the sea was really rough. We're all like, getting thrown around. And Merv just said, I don't want to play this sort of heavy music anymore. I want to do something more melodic. What do you think? I said, yeah, let's give it a go. And so that's when we went off and formed FM.
Yeah, and it was two great albums, I think. The Samson, the two records that you recorded.
Yeah, Before the Storm, and Don't Get Mad, Get Even.
You composed in the albums too, or not, or just
I did. Yeah,
were credited?
Yeah, I can't remember how we used to do it. No, I definitely did. I think we used to split everything equally, kind of. But we were always involved. We'd write in the rehearsal studio a lot of the time together, sort of thing. But I think like a song like Red Skies was when Bruce was still in the band. There were a couple of tracks on Before the Storm that Bruce had written before he left to join Iron Maiden, kind of thing. But no, Don't Get Mad, Get Even. That was like a band effort.
Would like to ask a question about being in an independent label.
It's so different. When we got signed in the 80s, it was a different time. There was so much money being thrown around. Nowadays, it's everything is every pound or every dollar is counted. Back in the 80s, I mean, we wasted so much money. It was ridiculous. Like I said, we spent £1,500 on the shaker. Now our album now costs £1,500 to record. It's just totally different times. But yeah,
you gain a lot of money in the AIDS, or the record company stay with the all of part?
Yeah, I think we probably still owe CBS or Sony about $1 million or £1 million. I think, you know. So and it's just totally different nowadays. You know, we went to, you know, the That Girl video. We flew to Jamaica to do it. You know, just crazy money, you know, that was spent in those days. But that's just how it was. You know, I think major labels thought that an album should cost £250,000. That's just how much it should cost. You know, so it sounds crazy nowadays. You know, but here we are.
And Pete, what is your favorite FM record? A friend of mine asked for this question, and she was really excited to know, because you all have such an amazing discography. You have like such amazing tunes, nice songs. And what is your favorite?
My favorite album, I think, I don't know. It's because we had good fun making it. I Tough It Out, I really enjoyed, and I do love that album. I mean, Indiscreet, even though we weren't maybe happy with how it sounded at the end, we had a great time making it, and it was really exciting. And to a lot of people, that's the soundtrack of when they were growing up, you know. So of the newer albums, I mean, Metropolis. I do like Metropolis, actually, but there's nothing that I don't think, oh no, I don't like that one, you know. But Metropolis was, again, it was a milestone, because we'd come back and it was the first album we'd made after so many years. And yeah, it's no, there's nothing I don't particularly like, so don't ask me that one.
Pete, a few people know Wildlife band, which is practically the embryo of what would become later FM.
Yeah.
We have Steve, Chris Overland, and you playing on most of the tracks on the first album. Also composing, playing it too close to the heart.
Yeah. Oh well, my goodness, well done.
Do you have any memories of this time? How would you got to be in the band?
What happened was, we used to have this a magazine or a newspaper, a music newspaper called Melody Maker. And there was like a section that you could put adverts in, sort of thing. And musicians would put adverts. And my brother, he put an advert in for me. And it was so embarrassing, because he worded it. And he's like, I'm this ace drummer, this and blah, blah. I'm like, oh. And I got a call from Wildlife's management saying they were looking for a bass player and a drummer. So I went down with a friend of mine called Bob Skeet, who plays in a band called Wishbone Ash now. And yeah, we went to Steve, Chris, and the keyboard player were living in London. We just went around their house and we rehearsed in their living room. And that was it. We got the songs together, and then we were signed to Chrysalis. And when we went to record the album, the producer wanted to use like session players to do the bass and drums. So I think they did 2 tracks. And then basically what happened was he said, no, now we'll use the band. The band could come and do the rest of the album, sort of thing. And I remember the manager at the time, and I hate him. And I hate him for saying this. He said basically to Bob and I, he said, well, this is your chance. If you mess it up, you're finished. And it's like, what? Like the pressure of having to go in to record, being told if you mess up, that's the end of it. So I've never forgotten that. It was horrible. But no, we did the tracks, and people seemed to. I didn't get sacked, so it was okay. I don't really know what happened after that. I think I went off, and so we did the first album, Burning. I can't remember. I kind of joined Samson, and then Steve and Chris stayed together. They did another Wildlife album. And how it happened with FM, Merv and I got FM together. We tried different vocalists. We actually had Andy Barnett was the original guitar player, but he went off and he joined Corey Hart. So it was just me and Merv, and I was just sat thinking one day. I thought, oh, I wonder what Steve and Chris are doing. You know, because I hadn't heard any wildlife stuff, so I just gave Steve a ring, and I said, you know, we're getting this band together. Do you fancy coming down and having a go, you and Chris? And he said, yeah, why not? You know. So they came down, and the plan was we'll demo 4 songs, and if we don't get a deal, then we'll just call it a day. But we did 4 songs, demoed 4 songs. We did some showcases, and we signed to Portrait, and the rest is kind of history, really. You know.
It seems the new wave of British heavy metal implies that all the musicians in England were united. The proof is the musical relationship with Iron Maiden, Samson. I know in the Samson, when you played, have musicians that play in the Angel Witch and etc. I'm sure it's really united, has a great rock scene. How was this scene?
It was. It's like you were saying, it was very united, and it was quite exciting. It was, you know, like a new movement. There was a place called the Bandwagon. It was a pub, but do you know, have you heard of Neil Kay? He was like a DJ, and he used to DJ at this place called the Bandwagon, like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And lots of people from the new wave of, you know, British heavy metal used to go there. No, it was a good scene. It was exciting. You know, I wasn't really in on the very beginning. It was more when Clive and Thunderstick were playing with Samson. But no, it's good. It's nice to be involved, you know. So and when we go abroad, I always sign lots of Samson albums, which is lovely, you know, which is really nice. So
Silvia, we got any questions for Pete, or where I can finish with that classical question that I ever with our guest?
Yeah, you can.
It's simple. We want to know about you. What's the 3 best albums for you of all time? A rock album, country album, any album.
Okay, I'd say albums that changed my life, I think. Led Zeppelin 4. That was the first. I lived in Scotland, and at that time, I was only about 12 or 13. And I'd moved up to Scotland with my mum. She went there to work. And at that time, I was mad on T-Rex, Mark Bolan T-Rex. And I went round someone's house and they played me Led Zeppelin 4. And it was like, whoa, what is this? This is incredible. So that's one album. The first Bad Company album as well. I love that album.
Just classical.
Yeah. And that was another thing that was again in Scotland. Everybody nowadays, I'm kind of, if someone asked me what my favorite song was, I'd actually have to say, and I don't know if this is controversial, but it's an Eminem song.
Oh,
Lose Yourself by Eminem. I think that's just the most fantastic song. And I remember,
like rap music, or just one music?
Not particularly. No, I'm not just this one song. I quite like Eminem. I think it's very interesting. His lyrics are very good, and look, I'm very eclectic. I don't just like rock music. I like all sorts of stuff. But the one time that I really kicked myself for not doing was because when I was telling about our manager, Steve Strange, who looked after Eminem, we were just chatting, and Eminem was going to do some shows, and Steve said, "Oh, come along with me." He said, "You know, we're going to go in the helicopter and stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And I didn't go. I couldn't make it, and I missed it. And I'm just like, "Oh, no." That's a big regret. A big regret of mine, that is. I like all sorts of music, kind of thing, you know, because I'm very, very eclectic.
So, Pete, thank you very much for this interview. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your concert here in Brazil. For all those who can attend to it, and that's, I just gained cotton candy.
Look at you! Look at you!
Well,
Where's mine?
Thank you very much again. Thank you so much for your patience.
Oh no, we cannot wait to come and play in your lovely country. We really can't.
And it's an honor to be able to talk with you. such
Anytime. It's
a
my
great
absolute
musician.
pleasure. God bless you.
When our friend Rodrigo Chauza saying me that FM would like to do an interview with FM, but when I did it, I can't believe it. FM to me, it's a band that is untouchable.
You're so kind. Thank you.
We're very happy to talk with you and send best wishes for the other guys and expect that you have a great show here in Brazil. You come back later for another another cities. Yeah,
definitely, 100%. Okay, you take care, guys. Lovely to speak to you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye bye.